Week 7 Monday Night Football. Let's get after it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Craig Ben, aka Cash Keg, here at Daily Edge Sports. We got 2 Monday Night Football games, which is awesome. If you follow the last PrizePicks video, we swept 3-0. Jefferson got there for some fantasy score. The fantasy score swept, I should say. St. Brown got there in fantasy score, and Saquon had a day against his old team. Over 180 scrimmage yards and a tutty. Again, I felt that revenge factor was going to be pretty heavy with him, and it was. So 3-0 on the fantasy scores if you followed them. Again, we have 2 Monday Night Football games. Usually I break these up in 2 videos. I'm going to do 1 video here, and I'm going to talk about 4 plays. 3 that I like, and 1 I do like, but the projection has moved so much. I'm a little bit more on the fence now, but we'll talk about it and see if you like it and want to put it in the picks that you are making today. But if you don't have that PrizePicks account, use that promo code CashKeg. Play $5, get $50 instantly. It is that easy. And with that, let's get after it. All right, PrizePicks desktop is up here. And again, we're going to talk about 4 plays, I guess. 3 that I like quite a bit. And then one of them I'm going to bring up last, and we'll talk about it. I'm kind of on the fence with it just because of how much it has really moved. I just think that it just needs a little bit more discussion with where it currently is at. But I do think it is honestly playable just in this situation. So we'll talk about that a little bit here as we go ahead. First thing we're going to talk about, we're going to go over and talk about Zay Flowers. I think this is one of the better matchups on the board. Again, going up against Tampa Bay. They're not the rush defense they were in the past, but again, they're middle of the pack. I think they're 14th, in the NFL. Anyways, middle of the pack this year. Still, you can beat them through the air here, and I think Zay Flowers is going to continue to have a phenomenal game where he's pass yards 63.5. It's a pretty popular pick, which I understand. Tampa Bay is ranked 27th in receiving yards allowed to the wide receiver position at over 163 yards a game. And as you can see against Cincinnati and Washington, he put up over 100 in both of them. I think he continues to roll here. 63.5 is just too low. I'm perfectly fine playing this up to 65, 67.5, really maybe even up to 70. But situations like this where they've had defenses that are weak against the pass, he has done really well. I mean, he is the alpha wide receiver there. And 63.5 receiving yards feels too low. I'm perfectly fine if you want to run fantasy score with him, if you think he gets a tutty, or receptions. One of the 2 here, I feel pretty good with that. 7 and 9 over the last 2 games, but yards, he's so explosive when he gets the ball in his hands. I feel most comfortable there. Next one we're going to go to, kind of irritated me a little bit, to be honest with you, here at PrizePicks. I pull up J.K. Dobbins, and as you can see, there's no regular line for rush yards. I really wanted it, at 69.5 is probably where it should be, but it's a goblin, right? So I think you could even play the demon at 99.5. It just kind of irritates me that there's no regular line here. So I think you can play rush and receiving touchdowns, but I really wanted to play the rushing yards. So it depends on which way you want to go. If you want to throw this in there, that looks like it's at 3x. If we play the 69 one, it looks like it's at 2.5x, right? So that's where it's tough. I kind of irritate a little bit that they don't have a regular line here. So if you want to play a little bit less of a payout, I'm fine with 69.5 rush yards. I'd rather play the regular line might even be 71.5. But I mean, great. Arizona is 29th in rushing yards allowed to the running back position, giving up 124 a game. He should do whatever he wants here against this Arizona team. 15 to 20 carries I expect out of him. But again, I think he gets in the box too if they get anywhere down by that goal line. So if you want to go rushing and reception touchdowns, I like either one of these. I just wish we had a regular line for rushing because I'd be all over that one. So one of the 2 here, your safer bet is the 69.5 rush yards, though, is where I would kind of lean. But I love the rushing and reception touchdowns as well. Third pick we're going to go here. We're going to go over to Baker Mayfield. Again, going up against Baltimore. Baltimore is ranked number 1 in rushing defense allowed. They only allow 44 rushing yards a game against them. And so going to be slinging it. Baker Mayfield has no problem slinging that rock. 259.5 pass yards. Again, Baltimore's giving up 275 a game. I think we're going to see a ton of passes out of Baker and crew here at home going against Baltimore. So give me the 259.5 pass yards for him. Definitely like this play for Baker Mayfield. And then the one we'll talk about in a little more depth that I was kind of wanting to talk about is Rashad White. So looking at Rashad White coming back, kind of seeing exactly where they're at with things, we saw what Bucky Irving did last week in a great matchup for running. Let's first start off with that. But you also had Sean Tucker run a ton too. And so, kind of looking to see what the head coach was talking about a little bit, and Todd Bowles, it was like, White wasn't looking good as it was as a runner. And this line projection opened up at 34.5, and it's pushed down all the way to 26.5. I think we still take the under on this. I think we take less than 26.5. Like I said, I was even looking at less than 17.5 the first 5. Like, he did not look explosive at all. And the way Tucker and Irving, how well they did last week in a great matchup, I think that we can take a shot at taking, especially on a 2-game slate like this, we can take a shot at going under this. It's the toughest matchup on the board, and against NFL. Again, they only give up 44.5 rushing yards allowed. And Rashad White, coming off injury, I just don't see him getting the rock too much, right? I think they're going to throw a lot more, and the opportunities he does get, are they really going to, put Rashad White out there? Are they going to let Bucky Irving maybe tote the rock a little bit more? Because he looked way more explosive, to be honest, than Rashad White did. So I think you can still take a shot at this. If you can get this, I think it's out there at some places at 27.5. But yeah, I wish we would have got on that number earlier at 34.5, because I was hoping it just took too long to drop for me, to be honest with you. But yeah, 26.5 is where I'm kind of leaning at, and looking at taking less than that, regardless of the situation that we have. So that's what we're looking at here. Again, Dobbins, if you want to take touchdowns, fine. Zay Flowers, I like that receiving number or fantasy with him. Baker Mayfield, this is just a correlation of he's going to throw a ton. And again, I don't think Rashad White's going to get the rock a ton, especially if they're splitting carries and we start seeing Bucky Irving kind of take over that role completely. It'll be interesting to see what they do. So a little bit more risk here with this line that is currently there, but I do think is a spot where we can look at going under this. So yeah, total of 4 plays there for this Monday Night Football 2-game slate we have on. If you want access to more picks and all the tools that we have over on our Daily Edge Sports site, head on over there, sign up, and we'll see you in the Discord. With that, appreciate you. See you on the flip side. Deuces.